Ahoy hoy, I'm Planetwalk, and today we're on to Pseudoscientist number 5 of the 12 Pseudoscientists of Christmas. Today we have a flat earther who I think everybody is familiar with and really needs no introduction, though I could let Baffy introduce him.
It's that late.
Anyway, I know that there's quite a few people that probably want me to go over his response to the final experiment, which, I mean, if you haven't seen this, take a listen.
Yeah. That's what I think. I do think that they're being duped to think they're at Antarctica. I don't think Union Glacier is really at Antarctica. I think it's at a different location, and it's placed as Antarctica.
So my question for FlatZoid is, if they're not in Antarctica, then where are they? Where on the flat Earth would a 24-hour sun exist at this time of year? But as funny as those shenanigans are, we're not here to talk about that today. Maybe another time, but today we're here to talk about the documentary that he made.
Do you believe it's a spinning ball in an infinite vacuum of space? Or do you believe we live on a stationary, enclosed plane?
Well, all the evidence seems to point to Earth being a globe that's orbiting the sun, so I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that one.
What does it matter anyway, what someone else believes?
Now this is something that I actually hear a lot. Who cares what anyone else believes, as long as they're not hurting anyone? But I'd say that when someone is trying to spread what they believe to other people, it is fair to push back against that. And in the case of flat earthers, it can be very funny to push back against it.
I am going to attempt something that I feel is very important, casting a look into what makes a globe believer so invested into the flat earth.
For a lot of people, it's just how funny and silly it is, and for some people, it's an opportunity to talk about something that they maybe want to talk about.
Why do we observe such a fervent obsession of globe believers, who despite dismissing the notion of a flat earth as ridiculous and unscientific, seem unable to just let it rest?
Because flat earthers somehow keep finding new ways to say silly stuff. I don't know how that happens. Every time I think they've run out of silly stuff that they can say, they keep on finding something new, like Union Glacier is not in Antarctica, for example.
The juxtaposition is fascinating. On one hand, we have a group of individuals fervently advocating for an alternative understanding of our world, challenging the very foundation of what the ancients and ourselves observe. How many civilizations have described the Earth as an enclosed, stationary plane? But one civilization had challenged this notion with a belief that the sphere is a perfect shape. So God had to create it as such.
Okay, which civilization said that God created Earth as a sphere because it's a perfect shape? All of the civilizations that I know of that say that the Earth is a sphere, they say that it's a sphere because of the evidence. Sure, some of the initial evidence may have been based on assumptions, like the assumption that Earth is casting a shadow on the moon during a lunar eclipse. But over the millennia, more and more evidence was gathered, and it became pretty undeniable that Earth is in fact a sphere. And also, I don't think that any of the civilizations that did believe that the Earth were flat would have conceptualized it in the same way that flat earthers do today. They would have said that when the sun goes down, it physically goes below the horizon.
On the other hand, we see staunch defenders for what is the flat earth seem to be looped into the endless cycles of debate and ridicule from the ones who claim the position is nothing but idiocy and a joke.
Yes, because there's something I've noticed about the internet over the years. The internet really likes silliness. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be flat earth silliness. Any silliness will do, like Nigel Cheesy Hands.
Oops.
But flat earthers are consistently silly. So no matter what, there is always something to poke fun at, even if it does admittedly get boring after a while.
How does engaging with the flat earth affect these globe believers mentally and emotionally?
Now, I can't speak for everyone, but for me personally, it doesn't really affect me all that much. I make my videos and then I go have a life outside of YouTube. But sometimes I do have a bit of fun with it, so that would be a bonus.
Does the constant need to defend their viewpoints stem from a place of insecurity?
Nope, I've defended 1 + 1 = 2 before, and it's not because I'm insecure about the fact that 1 + 1 = 2, it's because someone saying that 1 + 1 = 1 because of magnets is silly.
I wanted to, try to get some information from the flat earth side. I had kind of made up my mind pretty early. I didn't want to talk to them live just because I felt like it was going to evolve into like a debate about gravity or density or like
Dumpster fires, we
whatever.
call them.
But I did ask him if he wants to have a discussion, and he seems not to want to. That's why I said, let's maybe we can have a debate then.
You know, even just ignoring Veritas not wanting to have a live discussion because it might turn into a debate, the idea of someone not wanting a discussion and then Flatzoid going, or then debate me, is really funny to me. Like, what would have to be going through Flatzoid's head to think, okay, well, this person doesn't want a live discussion. I think they might want to have a debate instead.
And so someone had sent me the link, and I watched like 3 minutes of it, and I was like cringing in pain because they had gotten 3 minutes into the video and had already gotten like everything wrong.
Yeah, it's pretty typical of flat earthers to just get things wrong, even in things where you think they'd just be able to get things right.
And how big is your therapy bill? That is the main question, really.
Yeah, no, like I said, NASA's paychecks are covering that.
Okay, I really hope that Flatzoid can tell that that is something called a joke. Sometimes people like myself will use jokes such as, oh, this is so bad that I just have to take a really long break, or this is so bad that I needed therapy afterwards, as ways to sort of highlight exactly how stupid things are. At least that's what I tell my therapist.
Because they all think they're the smartest people in the world.
This is a game I've been seeing played by the anti-flat earth side for a while, claiming that we claim to know everything, where we constantly claim we don't know things, while all they do is claim to know everything and show to be ignorant.
Well, it's good then that FTFE wasn't actually claiming that you claim to know everything. He was claiming that you guys think that you're the smartest people in the world. And you know, if by some miracle the Earth were actually flat, then you'd have to be, right? It would take a decent amount of intelligence to figure out something that no one else has managed to figure out for ages. But when it comes to every flat earther that I've seen, they have a lackluster understanding of, well, everything. They don't understand things like perspective, they don't understand things like physics. Yet they act like they know more about those subjects than people who have actually studied those subjects.
Okay, let's start with a very important thing about the second law of thermodynamics, and that is the type of system that it deals with. What kind of system is that?
Are you saying it's isolated systems?
Well, that is what the second law of thermodynamics is, isn't it? Because the second law of thermodynamics deals with entropic processes within an isolated system.
Okay, so Flatzoid has highlighted something on the screen and he doesn't seem to understand the full context. And, you know, that kind of demonstrates the point that I just made. So what is the problem here? Well, FTFE was talking about how the second law of thermodynamics refers to an isolated system, which it does. Now, Flatzoid took the sentence on the screen which says thermodynamics is the study of various systems, and only highlighted the various systems part. Now, the implication here is that Flatzoid thinks that this means that the second law of thermodynamics refers to various systems, not just an isolated system. However, there's just a small problem with that. The sentence was not specifically talking about the second law of thermodynamics. The second law of thermodynamics is not the entirety of thermodynamics. So yes, while the second law may specifically refer to isolated systems, thermodynamics as a whole can talk about various systems as well.
And Earth, is it closed or open?
Earth is classed as a closed system in physics.
That's not true, because you claim to have astronauts leaving Earth.
Yeah, a closed system in physics allows for the transfer of small parts of matter.
So again, FTFE is correct here. Earth is a closed system because whilst there may be matter that enters and exits the system, it's not enough matter that you can classify it as an open system. You can say that it's technically not an entirely closed system, which would be correct, but it's still a closed system.
And like they genuinely think that they're having an intellectual discussion, but it's like watching a group of monkeys put shit on a wall. It really is. It's fucking hilarious. When you went in,
The globe defending side always has a way of trying to show insult and incredulity towards Flat Earth.
You say that like it's not a feature of the Flat Earth side too, when it is. I have seen your videos.
It feels like it's taking long for me because of the utter stupidity this guy's bringing.
I even had a professional...
I can't see the video. But I know the only people that claim to be surveyors that brought out these kind of stupid videos or images were people who were just on the anti-flat earther side.
We must be rational and follow the actual evidence.
Honest and rational. Idiot. Now we get 8 minutes of bullshit talk. Why, the so-called equinox not work on the flat earth models?
So there's certainly insults and incredulity from the flat earth side too, sometimes both at the same time. To act like it's one-sided is completely incorrect, and to pretend like it's indicative of globe earthers having no confidence in what they say misses the nature of online disagreements. Because if that were true, then clearly flat earthers have no confidence in what they say either, so we've just got to all embrace the concave earth model.
What first got you into the flat earth arena?
The first thing that got me in the flat earth arena was, I think it was like episode 3. I did a show on flat earth from a biblical perspective. And what happened is I started digging deep into the Bible, finding out, verses like obviously Genesis 1:8, God called the firmament heaven. That was one that really got me when I started studying the definition of firmament or rakia or stereoma in the Greek.
Okay, so firstly, I do not think that religious texts are a good place to start when trying to figure out reality. Like, if you're trying to find out what causes illness and you look to the Bible, you might come away with the idea that it's caused by sin or by demons or something. Now, this understanding can contradict what actually causes illness. Things like bacteria or viruses, for example. Which means that if you did get a serious illness, then maybe rather than seeking out modern medicine, which has been shown to work, you instead seek out an exorcist or prayer groups. And fundamentally, these things will not cure your illness. People have tried to rely on prayer, and then they die. When it comes to that kind of stuff, you want to look to science. You want to look to evidence, not your religious book. If your religious book contradicts what the evidence says, then maybe you need to throw out your religious book. Now that being said, rakia, which comes from Hebrew, means expanse. That doesn't have to mean that there's a dome covering the earth.
And I found out that it's solid sky, and then looked up, verses like in Job or Proverbs 8:27, where it talks about the sky being firm.
Okay, which Proverbs 8:27 are you talking about? Like, which version of the Bible? Because I've looked through a few, and none of them seem to suggest that the sky is firm. Like, which part of I was there when he set the heavens in place, when he marked out the horizon on the face of the deep, says that the sky is solid? Which part of when he established the heavens, I was there when he drew a circle on the face of the deep? Which part of that says that the sky is solid?
That's what really got me to look into this, because I was like, that really separates the difference between the globe and the flat earth would be the firmament, so that's what really got me in.
Well, maybe you should have talked to Kent Hovind, who thought that there was some kind of ice canopy before the flood. I mean, yeah, that's a crazy idea, but so is flat earth.
And then on episode 5, I had Dave Weiss on, and he kind of went over the scientific part of the flat earth, and that really got me intrigued. I was like, all right, so he kind of solidified it for me on the scientific side.
Okay, and then you got someone who disagreed with the flat earth to bring along their science, and then you weighed up the two and made a rational decision, right? Oh, you're telling me that's not what happened?
So once I know that the Bible says it, I know that all scripture is inspired by God. I know Romans 3:4 says that let God be true, every man a liar.
Okay, who's going to tell them?
I'm a scammer.
So yeah, it turns out that Dave Weiss is not the most honest person in the world. He has an app which he tries to sell, which has major security flaws. He has lied about things to do with flat earth. So yeah, I would not trust that guy. And also, you seem to be starting with the idea that the earth is flat based on the Bible and getting a flat earther on to confirm that belief. I wonder if Flatzoid realizes that this clip does not make flat earthers look good.
Titus 1:2 says that God cannot lie, and Hebrews 6:18 says it's impossible for God to lie.
Okay, so the Bible says that it is impossible for God to lie. But what if that's a lie? I mean, I can certainly conceive of a world where God might lie about his ability to lie in order to make himself seem truthful, or where people might lie about God's ability to lie. All I know is that it is impossible for me to lie. And I am God. So you should worship me. Ahoy hoy, I'm Planet Walking. Oh hey, that's me, I wonder what he's gonna say about me. And one thing that I hear a lot of flat earthers say is they say that the flat earth movement is growing, the truth is getting out there, and someday they'll all be taken seriously.
I think you might be thinking to yourself, how ironic is it the same people that claim flat earth is just a joke and a waste of time are the ones dedicating their whole channels to trying to debunk this so-called joke.
Oh, Flatzoid, I think you might have misunderstood me. I did not say that talking about flat earth was a waste of time. There is certainly some entertainment value in it. Like, just because someone is laughing at something or talking about something, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're taking it seriously. Like, a lot of people laugh at the meme of birds aren't real. Like, there are a lot of things that I talk about that I don't take seriously at all, and that's because the claims are so ridiculous that, well, it's entertaining.
Why would someone waste so much of their time and life on a subject that they thought just was utterly ridiculous?
Okay, Flatzoid, you're trying to work out what all the psychology behind this is, but if you actually looked into psychology, then you might come up with an answer. And I'm actually being serious here, because what you seem to be doing is trying to paint globe earthers as being insincere, when you could actually look into psychology and work out why globe earthers make so many videos on flat earthers. But that would not allow you to paint globe earthers in the way that you're attempting to paint us. Because here's the thing, people like hearing things in which they can go, oh, that's just completely ridiculous. I am too smart to believe that kind of rubbish. But in addition to that, people do like hearing confirmation that they are indeed correct, and that they are the smart ones. Now, this can be applied to pretty much any subject. However, flat earth is special in the fact that most people agree that flat earth is silly. If I make a video on flat earth, then people are probably going to agree with me and then have a good laugh. However, if I make a video on a different subject where people are more divided, then people are less likely to get that. And the thing with YouTube is because it's got thumbnails and a title, people tend to have an idea of what sort of video they are clicking onto. So if they disagree with me, then they're probably not going to watch the video. Also, if they don't think that the person I'm talking about is silly enough, they're also probably not going to watch the video. So this means that creators like myself are encouraged to find silly things that people are saying that everyone will agree is silly and then put them on display, while also explaining why they're wrong. And flat earthers tend to fit this quite well, though not always. There are people like Nigel Cheesy Hands, which people think are a lot sillier. That is why globe earthers make so many videos about flat earthers, and whenever we talk about politics, a bunch of people just get mad and unsubscribe. Now, this psychology isn't unique to globe earthers, it's a universal thing which also applies to flat earthers as well. So that is the answer to Flatzoid's questions, but it's not the answer that he wants, because it doesn't make globe earthers seem insincere and insecure. And one thing I do need to address is that yes, I did just call a bunch of people in my audience out, because there will be a number of people in my audience who only watch me because I say things that they agree with. Now, this does not in any way shape what I believe, because I am not trying to please everybody, because I know that I cannot do that. Now, to some extent, it does shape the topics that I talk about more often, because I do need to keep a healthy balance between the things that people want to watch and the things that I just want to talk about. And fun fact, if I actually shaped my opinions off of the people that watch me, then there would be one person in the series who would not be in the series. So yeah, I've given Flatzoid the answer that he's looking for, or should be looking for. And there's a lot more to his video, but I don't think we need to go over an hour of his video. And who knows, I might prompt Flatzoid to get a degree in psychology, if he can. But anyway, that is it for this video, and you may have noticed that whilst we are at Pseudoscientist number 5, there has been a bit of a break between the last one and this one, and that's just because I have been extremely busy lately and trying not to overwork myself as well. I cannot confirm when the series will be done by, because I do have things that I'm going to be doing very soon. I hope the latest would be sometime around mid-January. If that does happen to be the case, it will still be the 12 Pseudoscientists of Christmas. It's just that Christmas will have extended itself into January rather than trying to take over October. Anyway, leave a like and subscribe if you like this video. Leave a comment letting me know who you think the next Pseudoscientist will be. I will see you in the next video. Between you and me, thank you for watching.